Now, Seattle Mayor Bruce Harrell's office has been pushing forward with a new payroll system, one that is fine, Workday. We actually have that here in this office, and I haven't had any problems with it. However, for years, 2 years now, Seattle police leadership have been telling his office, do not transfer us over to Workday. It is not capable of handling the complexities of our department. We have 24-hour shifts, for starters. This is not a program that is made for us. Do not do it. You're going to cause a huge nightmare. And apparently the mayor's office was all like, That's what they put in an email. And decided to move forward with it anyway. And now, guess what's happening? Cops aren't being paid what they're supposed to be, and the union representing the officers is thinking about taking legal action. I will quote, although I will have to change at least one of the words, an officer who sent me a text this morning. It's a bleeping disaster. That is the cleanest and nicest message I have received in the last 2 to 3 days concerning what's going on. It's a bleeping disaster. Now, the last paycheck that went out was a total mess. A total mess. October 4. Many officers got less than half of their expected pay. Let me say that again. Imagine for a moment, you open your paycheck, you look in your bank account, you look at your direct deposit, however it is you get it, and half of your paycheck is missing. You're probably going to do a double take. I need that money. What's happening? And you're not the only one it happened to. Your special event overtime pay vanished. Your deferred compensation loans, which have been supposedly paid off, were still being docked from your account. The city matching retirement funds, like, you know how we have a 401k, some places have 401k and your company will match up to a certain percentage. They do the same in the city of Seattle. Well, those funds weren't deposited. Meaning an officer now has less in retirement because they're not seeing the same returns in their portfolio because they don't have the funds that have then been put into the market. And it's gone well beyond just missing paychecks or portions of paychecks. You have medical coverage lapses potentially. You have fears amongst officers that they might default on loans. It's an issue that first surfaced in September. And it led the Seattle Police Department, their union, SPOG, to file a grievance, to file a demand to bargain over deferred compensation. And now they're planning a labor action regarding retro repayment in the near future. Now, I spoke to Officer Mike Solon, he's the president of SPOG, who called it a nightmare. He's going to be on the show tomorrow to take a deep dive into this. But the system was rolled out in September. It was rolled out via the Office of Finance. And it sounds like it needed to be updated, their current payroll system. They said, hey, we've had a payroll system for 30 years. The vendor no longer services with this particular payroll system. The needs of our workforce aren't being met. We have to update. The needs of your current workforce are also still not being completely met. Because after speaking with multiple people within the Seattle Police Department, I'm told the city staff weren't properly trained for this. And that because of the 24-hour shift cycles, everything got screwed up. And they saw this coming. The mayor's office was told over and over and over again, according to multiple sources, not to do this. So we can't be surprised that this is what happened. Now, when you change over to a new payroll system, even if you're a small business, you can expect some hiccups, right? I mean, we're talking in this case about the city of Seattle, so that's a lot of people. Totally get it. But this is a lot. Like, this is major. These aren't just little hiccups. This is pretty significant. And if, the mayor's office maybe thought that the Seattle Police Department leadership warning was maybe being, too sensitive, they could have Googled Workday and then different police departments, and they would have found some issues like in LAPD. Los Angeles Police Department had very similar issues. The state of Oregon had very similar issues. It's all available online. They could have found it. Now, beyond the pay aspect of this, leave accruals are incorrect. Overtime and holiday rates are wrong. Sick leave is inaccurate. And even federal withholdings aren't there. Those are off. That has some implications on this thing called taxes.
Seems like a problem.
Seems kind of important. Now, according to the Office of Finance, the entire city is experiencing some of the effects of this new payroll system. However, it appears that SPD was hit the hardest. I suspect fire has been hit hard as well, but I haven't been able to confirm that. The Seattle Police pay crisis, and that's what this is. And maybe we shouldn't call it a pay crisis because you've got some officers who can't add new dependents to their health insurance. So let's say you're a cop who just got married or just had a kid. You've got now a dependent that is financially vulnerable if they have a medical emergency because they're not on the insurance. Imagine dealing with that. And you can say, well, maybe it'll get figured out. Have you ever tried to deal with an insurance company? Are you nuts? You think it's easy? It's not easy. It's not easy at all. And of course, the mayor's office is pretending this isn't really a big deal. It's not a big deal. It's not a story. Don't worry. They certainly hope it's not going to become a big story. I certainly hope it does. Because this is simply unacceptable. It is simply unacceptable. You can't tell me that you've been warned for 2 years but didn't see this coming. You can't tell me that you support cops but allowed this to happen. And you can't tell me that this is the right time for this to happen, given the low morale, given the fact that cops are leaving, given that just yesterday you passed at the Seattle City Council level the $50,000 bonus for lateral officers to join the SPD. Will they even get the $50,000? Will it come? Or is that a different system maybe? Now, I got a hold of an email that was sent internally from the interim police chief, Sue Rohr. She said, unfortunately, this system was not designed for the complex payroll structures that we have. It's nothing short of miraculous that our internal team from SPD has been able to get us this far. Miraculous. Should you need a miracle in order to even get half of your paycheck? Probably not. I've heard from dozens of officers, almost a dozen, all basically saying the same thing. And the city, I'm told, will first address the 50% folks, the ones who got about half of their paycheck within the next couple days. Then they'll go to the next group of officers. But that's not just the only issue that they're going to have to fix. Tell me how you calculate missing retirement earnings when for a month you're supposed to be contributing to your 401k and earning whatever, the fund is earning plus whatever the interest is. How do you calculate that? How do you calculate what you now owe these officers? Seriously, I mean, that seems pretty complicated, right?
Yeah.
I'm assuming you could do it, but it's not going to be easy.
Sounds like a pain.
The poor people have to go ahead and do that because someone above them made the decision to move forward with this system with the Seattle Police Department. And again, from all accounts, it doesn't seem like it's a Workday problem. It seems like it's a city problem. And so I'm not blaming Workday for this. Usually, though, you would have, I'm assuming, like engineers with the company working with the city. And I don't know if that's happening. If it is happening, they're keeping it quiet. I mean, the mayor's office didn't even want to give me a statement. They had to go through the Office of Finance, pretending like I'm going to go ahead and blame the Office of Finance. You do understand that this happens under your watch, and you're the one who was told that this was going to happen. So if you want to help me spread this story, I would really appreciate it. You can head on over to KTTH.com, or you can go ahead and text the keyword RANTZ, R-A-N-T-Z, to 1-800-465 8770. 1-800-465-8770. Send Rantz, and I'll send you a link to my blog.